1993 Renault Twingo car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. Today we are driving a 1993 Renault Twingo in a special race called the Renault Twingo 1 Make. We're doing 5 laps. We started 10th of 10 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now I gotta admit, I've never heard of a Renault Twingo car before, but then I'm sure there's a lot of cars that the OpenFed hasn't heard about. It's a little different. It's a cool little car to drive. But anyhow, we're in the race. We're moving along pretty good. We're almost done the first lap already. Now we got 9 cars to pass, 5 laps, of which there's only about 4 left now, because when we come around the corner here, you'll be able to see the grandstand in one more turn here back to the right in a second. Right around this corner here, which means that these laps are very short. Now, even though they're very short, they're going to take a little bit of time to do, because as you can see, these guys are not speed demons. And on the straight sections, I can just barely catch some of them, and some of them I can't catch. So I have to try and pass them on the corners. Now, when you can't, it becomes a little bit more strategic when you're driving a slower car than a fast car, I suppose. As you can see him ripping by me there around the corner. What I got to do is I got to not worry too much about the straight sections, try and keep the pedal to the metal all the way through the race from beginning to end, and cut every corner as short as possible. That's the only way you're going to win this race, because these cars are too evenly powered. So you got to try and get your nose up beside them and then cut on the inside of them, or power around the outside of them if you're in time, just like that. And by doing that, you can slowly pick off one car at a time because of the corners. Then, of course, again, when you get to the straight section, we can catch up to some of them, and we can pass them, as you'll see here, with the same colored Renault Twingo car in front of us. I got it floored. And the distance is just starting to get a little bit shorter. So as you can tell, it's the corners or nothing. If you can't beat them in the corners, you're not going to win this race. Now I'm not quite sure where we are in the pack of cars, because as usual, the OpenFed doesn't count the cars he's passing. He barely keeps count of the laps he's doing. I believe this is our 3rd lap, and we've got, well, when we go down the hill, we should be able to see how many more cars we got. There might only be the 2 right there in front of us, and this butterscotch colored one, but he doesn't want to let us go by. But we're going to insist. We're going to insist that we want to be in front of him as they're making the rounds here and almost coming to the end of the 3rd lap already. So like I said, the laps go a little bit slower because you don't go so fast, but they're still not very long. Now I do believe that these 2 cars are the last 2 cars in front of me. You'll be able to see right here, no, doesn't look like there's anybody else up the road. But as you can see, I don't seem to be able to, well, I'm catching up to the last car a little bit, but the one in front, it's going to take a little bit, but we're in the 4th lap, so we're getting closer to the end of the race. We got one more lap to go after this one. If we can sneak by these guys, then all we have to do is try and fight them off. Keep them from passing us. Now we're in the lead. We're in the lead, and we're almost halfway through the 4th lap already, because it goes so quick. But if you keep an eye on your rearview mirror, especially that side mirror, you'll be able to see them quite well. Those 2 cars behind me are not just going to let me walk away from this. They didn't like me passing them, so they're going to try and catch up to me. Now there again, I got to make my time on the corners, so I try to use the full width of the track, cut in as tight as I can, and slow down as little as I can, so that I can create a little bit of a buffer zone between me and the last car that I just passed. As you can see, I'm not really pulling away from them very much. And now we're at the start. Well, we got a little bit of distance, not much, but we're starting our last lap. So we can't afford to make any mistakes. We can't drive. No different than in a race with really fast Formula One cars. You make one mistake and those cars behind me will be past me. And once they go past in that last lap, you will not be able to catch back up to them again and pass them to get the win, if that's what you want to try and do. So we got to try and keep it clean, and if we have to drive a little bit slower because of that, that's okay. As long as we keep our eye on the rearview mirror, make sure those guys aren't getting any closer, and we try and drive as clean as we can, we should be able to win this race. Really enjoyed this one. Quick 5 laps. Kind of a cool, different type of car to drive. Anyhow, hope to see you back at Overfed Gaming again real soon, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until then, you've been driving in a 1993 Renault Twingo car with me, the Overfed.